What's up with it, y'all? Yeah, I was looking at this video again, and this guy said something that caught my attention, especially, once I went to the comments. He said he called slaves, black slaves, immigrants. And I'm like going, what? Like immigrants? Where do you get this from? So I'm gonna let you listen so I can, grab y'all thoughts on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, sub up, and if you ain't subscribed, but let's go.
99% white.
Probably say realistically we could get to like 75. I think we need to like deport a lot of people to, actually have that. I think we just need to deport people.
Here's the problem though. It's like, okay, we deport people, but
Yeah.
what does that solve?
Yeah, can I ask you a real quick question, just like out of curiosity? What historical precedent do you have for mass deportations generating a net economic gain in the United States?
Well, I don't think, like I said, I don't think GDP is everything. I would say culture.
I'm not just saying GDP, I'm just saying gain of any kind.
Wages actually meant more in 1965 before the Hart-Celler Act, so I guess I would reflect
Do you think
to
that was because of mass deportation?
No, it was because it was pretty much all white people here, and, they weren't over here yet.
Do you know why wages were so competitive in the 1960s?
Because America actually built stuff.
Do you know why America actually built stuff back then?
Because we had all the factories and...
Yes, because we had one of the few countries that wasn't completely bombed out infrastructure-wise after World War II, which made it incredibly easy for the United States to maintain a lead over other countries until after the Marshall Plan reached its fruition. And then suddenly you have the 1980s where a bunch of people are freaking out over Japan potentially surpassing the United States. Right now it's China. They're concerned about China surpassing the United States.
because we opened our doors to China. Pretty sure Nixon was the one who did that.
That's everything. My question to you is, when in American history has mass deportations been a net positive for the country?
When has mass immigration been a net positive for the country?
Throughout the entire United States history.
Yeah, but it depends where these immigrants
It wouldn't be
are from.
America
That's the
without
thing.
immigration.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be America, but those immigrants, they were mainly, Germans and WASPs that were coming over.
Are you forgetting the people who were brought over in the slave trade? Those are immigrants too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying black people are essential to American culture. Black people have, been in America since America was founded. But I would say,
you want America to be 99% white, is what?
Well,
not 99. I would probably
asking-
say realistically we could get to like 75.
I'm mainly
I think we could get
asking,
to
when
75,
has mass
like 80.
deportations been a net positive in American history?
We've never had to do mass deportations because we never
That is
had
a
50
complete
million
lie. We did
people
mass
before.
deportations during Mexican repatriation in the 1930s. There's the Indian Removal
Yeah, but it was a
Act in
lot less
1930.
people. It was
There's
a lot
also
less people.
Operation WB in the 1940s. There were the Palma raids against Italian Americans in the 1920s. Mass deportations are very much.
But
a
it
thing in
wasn't
the-
as much. It was
How do you know that for sure? How many people were
because
deported?
how
in Mexican
many
repatriation?
how many people were in the Mexican appreciation? I don't know.
So how many people would you like to see deported, and from
probably
obviously you want
probably-
all the Somalis deported,
probably yes, all the Somalians,
even if they're
Probably-
American.
even if they're citizens. Yes, I would probably say about 20 million. Realistically,
He said
20 to
all
30
the
million.
Somalis.
So if
There's
you
only
deported
11
20 to
million
30 million.
undocumented immigrants in the United
I
States.
know.
You're
I think
advocating
we
for-
need to I think we need to denaturalize some people.
And how do you
I think
do that without
that-
impeding
yeah, okay,
upon
so-
people's civil rights?
Past like 10 to 20 years, I'd say that could be our framework. Have you committed a crime? Are you net positive or net negative on the taxpayer system? Have you acclimated to American society? And I think we
How,
can do
not-
that.
how
I
is
think
that
we
in
could have
any
a
sense
system.
an ethical policy? How is that not going to be exploited? Like,
Wouldn't
you-
that
you're gonna
also
have some-
apply to every white person?
I mean,
If
most
a white
people have
person
been here.
commits a crime, should they be denaturalized and sent back to Germany or England?
I mean, I think on average, should a white person be deported if they committed a crime?
Well, yes, that's the
Yeah,
question.
should they be same
I mean, no,
standard?
they should
You're
go to
holding
jail
the
'cause,
standard towards
their family's been here long.
So
Their
why are you
family's been here.
attaching
You're-
a different sense of judgment towards people based off of their race?
It's not like just, if someone from Sweden committed a crime within the past 5-10 years, they would have to go back as well.
What if I gathered up 5 women and said that you raped all 5 of them, and then you need to be denaturalized and sent to another country? How do you respond to that in a legal and ethical sense without having your civil rights impeded?
I
and having your property-
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I'm not
Well,
saying
of
that
course
you
you wouldn't,
wouldn't. I'm not saying that you would do that. I'm saying that what if I use the legal system in order to denaturalize you, take you out of the country, and then seize your property and your business if you had one?
That's a very extreme hypothetical.
That is
I don't think that
exactly
happened.
what
But
happens when you deal with mass deportation. You think companies and What do you think of all those Japanese businesses?
I don't think Japanese, I mean, it's always easier to reflect, after the thing has happened.
These people were given 24 to 48 hours notice, and then they had their business and property seized. Okay,
Yeah,
it was wrong in the moment, and we knew it was wrong in the moment.
Yeah, so wait, what are you arguing?
I'm arguing, how do you have a system like that in place that isn't going to be exploited? What if I just gather enough people
Well, it
to
might
say
be
that you're
exploited, but
guilty of a crime?
it might be exploited, but it just kind of has to happen.
Why does it
I mean,
have to happen?
no one-
Again, you're advocating for a legal system that would void your rights simply based off of what?
It just kind of needs to happen. I mean, that's
Why?
like,
Why does this need to
extreme-
happen?
because America is being replaced, Canada is being replaced, England's
How
being
is
replaced.
America
Let me
being
ask you this
replaced?
question.
You're having a different sense of judgment based off of people's race, which is already unethical. And then you're claiming that this has to happen, but you haven't provided a substantial reason as to why. There's no historical precedent for mass deportation actually helping the people of America in general.
Yeah, because we've never had 50 million immigrants in the country. I mean, we live in such a time that's different from all.
But the
eras of
country
history.
is immigrants. What you're saying is that because it was white immigrants, it's okay. But if it's black or brown or somebody that's
Black
not
people.
a
I'm not
Christian,
deporting black people. Black people have been in America for,
Man.
I'm pretty sure, longer
Under the
than my
system that
family's
you
been in
propose, that would also make Africans vulnerable to being denaturalized and deported.
America. No, it wouldn't, because black people are essential. Black people have been in America. That's different. West Africans have been in America since America.
Are you sure that a legal system won't be disproportionately
We're not
negative
African.
towards people who are of African descent? Again,
I mean, the Germans
at
were
what point
very
did
tribal.
mass
pagans.
deportations work? I need you to provide at least one historical precedent for that actually.
One
being
is
a-
because it's never had to happen.
has
We've never had to
happened.
do this.
Wait,
let
wait,
me give
so
you
it's
let me
never
give you a
had to happen,
perfect
but it does
historical.
now?
Let me give you a perfect
When have
historical
we ever
example of that.
deported? When have we deported 20 million people?
It's estimated between 300,000 to 2 million Mexicans and Mexican Americans were deported from the United States, often without cause, from 1929 to 1939. And would you say that was a negative or positive for the United States?
I'd say it's a positive.
Okay, then why is it that the United States needed those laborers again so they instituted the Bracero program only a few years after that?
I'm not familiar with the Bracero program.
That's exactly what I'm speaking on, because if you don't have any historical
I don't have a
precedent-
problem with Mexicans. I really don't. Good food.
I didn't
they have
say that.
family
I didn't say
values.
that. But you said that you need to have mass deportation, but you've got zero historical precedent.
Say he don't
And
need
you
it.
argue-
We've
that you
never
may-
had this many people in the country.
But as
I mean,
a proportion
when
of
have
the
you
population,
needed, when have you needed
as a
Indians
proportion
to
of
work
the
American
population-
jobs? When have you needed Somalians in Minnesota? I mean,
Somalis,
the list
remember,
goes on.
as a proportion to the United States population, 2 million Mexican and Mexican Americans in 1929 to 1939. So that is a fairly, adaptable model to see what happens when we remove that many people from the country. And there are multiple other instances. The Indian Removal Act. Would you support the Indian Removal Act in retrospect?
I don't know. It's a tough question. Indian reservations, I don't know if you've ever drove through them, but they're kind of rough areas.
Why is
I
that?
think
Because they
also-
were
The United States government has been robbing them since the United States was formed.
But they
this
didn't build
was-
anything. What did we
was
rob
their
them
country.
of?
No, that's
land?
completely false.
Their
That is
land, their
completely false.
lives, their childhood, their women. Read the book, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee.
Do you know why they passed the Indian Removal Act?
No, I do not.
It's
Andrew,
because
can
they
you inform
wanted.
me?
It's because they wanted access to Native American gold mines. Okay, they wanted access to Native American businesses. Mind you, that the people that they were removing were assimilating into American culture. They were doing everything that you're asking them to do. They were assimilating into American culture. They were running businesses. Instead of fighting this outright, aside from the Seminoles in Florida, most of the people who were subject to being deported or moved to Oklahoma and the Trail of Tears tried to fight the Indian Removal Act in the Supreme Court, in which President Andrew Jackson just ignored the Supreme Court's ruling. So again, you have another example of mass deportation being a net negative on the people of America and the economy as well.
You look at an area, I mean, if you look at I've drove through Indian reservations because there is Indian reservations. in
Yeah,
North
okay,
Dakota,
if you're going
and
to
there's a
talk about the
staunch-
conditions of Native American reservations today, that is because of the Indian Removal Act. You're blaming
and we
people
could've-
for being exploited, and you're saying, well, this is like this place
I
is
don't know.
rough.
It's
Yeah,
a
why
lot
did you
easier
do
to
this?
talk on things in retrospect. I mean, at the time, they thought that was probably the best thing to do.
No, it was highly controversial at the time. That's why the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Native American tribes.
Well, I mean, I
Bro,
don't
they
know.
gonna have you
I'm
talking
talking
in
about today.
circles.
I'm not talking.
Look.
I can't speak.
You want
One.
America.
Black people are not immigrants. For two, immigration, I mean, if you committed a violent crime, you committed a crime, I mean, In any other country right now, you wouldn't be there. You know, they'll let you do your time and then they're kicking you out and you're not coming back. So what's wrong with that? But let me know what you think about this. And thanks for watching. Hit that like button. If you ain't subbed up, sub up for more. And thanks. Have a good day.